P4P Boxing Talk, unbiased boxing channel.
Roses and daffodils, waiting on you at the gates hell. Catch me if
P4P Boxing Talk, unbiased boxing channel.
Roses and daffodils, waiting on you at the gates hell. Catch me if I start to feel a prayer dawn, a prayer dawn. Roses and daffodils, waiting on you at the gates hell. Catch me if I start to feel a prayer dawn, a prayer dawn. I got some big ass fucking visions in vogue. I'm talking cover lover, baby mother covered in gold. I'm talking 19 fucking rings on my tree. I got ice and different income that nobody can see. Got a big ass fucking head on my motherfucking shoulders. My niggas steady laughing, talking about my head and shoulders. Hair so fucking long ago from head down to my shoulders. And this shit is from the heart for my haters and the boulders that be in my way. Feeling like the man until I went another way. Try to bust up on my life and went another way. I got that money in my pocket, live another day. Yeah, yeah. Roses and daffodils.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. It's your man Pound for Pound Boxing Talk, where the talk is the realest. Give me 1 second. Okay, there we go. There we go. Put the light up a little bit. It's your man Pound for Pound Boxing Talk, where the talk is the realest. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you know when I'm live. It's the realest on YouTube. You already know what to do. Go ahead and snuff that like button when you jump in here, man. You already know how we get down. Ain't none of that punk ass crying on this channel. None of the false narratives. None of that this and that. Oh, you hating on Devin. You hating on him. You hating on him. So what? So what if? So what that Floyd Mayweather beat everybody? He's still not better than Ali. How can you say Bud is better than Ali? Bud ain't fight nobody. How can you say none of that fake ass narratives? Just follow the leader ass boxing talk. This is that real boxing talk for the leaders. You heard? None of them narratives, none of that monkey see, monkey do, repeating what just everybody else say. This that think for yourself channel, you heard? It's Pound for Pound Boxing Talk, where the talk is the realest. And you know how I get down. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat ASAP. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat now in case somebody got something to say. Boom. There you go. There's your invitation. Other than that, man, you know, another day. I'm still fasting. You feel what I'm saying? Let me see what hours I'm at now. It's almost time where I could break it, y'all. Almost time. Let me see. See my fasting at. Look, are you still fasting? Yes. We at 69 hours, y'all. Shout out 6ix9ine. We at 69 hours. Got 3 more. So like around 8. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like 8:30. 8:30, I'm about to bust open a banana pause, get my potassium up. It's been 3 days, son. 3 days, son. 3 days. Water and tea. The first day, I had some juice. I had some orange juice. It's 100% though. Like, it ain't none of that fake shit. Like, the shit has one ingredient, orange juice. Just like the coconut water I drink. Ain't no citric acid and plutonium and all that shit. My coconut water, one ingredient, organic coconut water. That's it. Orange juice. That's it. So I had some of that on the first day. But either way, straight liquid, just water, juices, tea. That's it. And that was the first day. After that, I even cut out the fruit juices, the coconut water and the orange juice. Just straight alkaline water and herbal tea. Straight. So, you know, I guess my body's loving me right now. You feel what I'm saying? But anyway, let's get into that boxing talk, man. Let's get into that boxing talk real quick. I ain't gonna be long. I always say that, and then people start jumping in and make the shit drag quick. Let's make it drag long. So we already got one person turning down a fight. Terrible, 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 terrible. ERICKSON LUBIN has came out 2 hours ago and says out of his own mouth on camera, on video, caught him in 4K, saying that even if he wins this Virgil fight, he will not fight Boots. Ooh, oh my God. Says he will not fight Boots. If he wins, you heard me right. He said if he beats Virgil, he not fighting Boots. And you know what else he said? This is the part I agree with that he said, though. The not fighting Boots part, I was like, damn, we got one now. There's one person declining it. But what I do agree with what he said is, I don't care what none of y'all say. This is my life, my career, and I'm doing what I want to do in my career. He said he want to run it back with Fedora. He said he want to run it back with Charlo. So he got his own plan. That was his exact words. I got my own plans. You feel what I'm saying? So that's number one. He the first to cross himself out. Who gonna be next? Is it gonna be Xander Zayas? Say, nah, I'm good on that Boots fight. Is it gonna be Bakram? It says, no, I do not want to fight Boots. Or however that Russian accent is. Shout out all my Russians. Or is it gonna be what's his name who got the Fedora? That'd be like, nah, I don't want to fight him neither. We got one down. Lubin said he not fighting. So now I was rooting for Lubin halfway because I really want to see the Virgil versus Boots, but I was still going for Lubin because I like Lubin, and I still like Lubin. But as far as this fight goes, now I want Virgil to win because if Virgil wins, then he can fight Boots, and then that'll be good. That'll be great, you know. But if he lose, I don't know if that looks good for Boots because then you know how y'all are. If Virgil go in there and lose to Lubin, and then he fights Boots, and Boots washes Virgil up after all the talk y'all been saying about him ducking and all this stuff, and he could beat him and all this stuff, he's dangerous and 50-50 and all this stuff, the first thing y'all gonna say is he was ducking him for so long, he was already broken when he lost to Lubin and all this other shit that y'all be saying. And either way, like I said, I mean, there's no fighting against the critics because y'all come up with excuses for everybody. Bud still ain't fight nobody. Floyd Mayweather still ain't fight nobody. Like, y'all are just ridiculous, like straight dumb. So I already know, and I understand that, you know. I understand that you know, when the haters come out and a lot of people just be talking and, you know, it's really just haters. That's what it really is. And the reason why it's so much haters is because that's just how most of the world is. I mean, that's just a fact. When you got somebody that's winning, whooping ass, winning, beating people that you like, 90% of the world is gonna hate that man, and 10% of the world is gonna salute that man and respect that man. That's just how I go. That's just how I go. When people see you winning, or you got more money than them, or you more attractive than them, just niggas start hating. You know how much times niggas had a problem with me going to their parties? Like I used to make my own parties. Or like some people I was cool with, then you know, they'll have an event or something, and all right, cool. But niggas didn't invite me to parties because they feel like the girls is gonna be on me. And niggas like, nah, we ain't inviting pound for pound. Like that nigga, nah. Like, yo, you heard about such a part? No, nobody told me. Feel what I'm saying? So I used to have my own shit, but when you winning in life, you're gonna see that whoever, and that's why I say, like, I seen it with Floyd. It repeated itself again with Bud. It's happening again with Boots. When Floyd was number one pound for pound, everybody was saying he wasn't fighting nobody. It was an excuse for everybody he fought. When Terrence Crawford was pound for pound, it was an excuse for everybody. They was making an excuse for everybody he fought, discrediting him, putting Lomachenko above him. When Lomachenko had like 18 fights and 2 losses. And then ESPN would erase Lomachenko losses and put it as draws. Straight propaganda. They give people extra credit that got the complexion for the connection. If you know, you know. You feel what I'm saying? But either way, they couldn't do all of that because at the end of the day, just like Floyd said, when the history books is closed, when the story is told, he remains the best. And that's just the facts. So anyway, man, ERICKSON Lubin, I got it loaded up here. This was a Fight Hype interview. Shout out to Fight Hype. If y'all want to actually watch the video, it's on there. I'm going to play the interview. ERICKSON Lubin he had a lot to say about Boots and Lima. And then when he got asked, would he fight him? He said, no, nigga. I got other plans. But like I said, the part that I'm not mad at him about is when he said that he really don't care about what y'all think at all, that he's going to do what he want to do. That's what I liked about what ERICKSON Lubin said. All that he not going to fight Boots shit, I didn't like that. But when he said he don't give a fuck about what none of the people on the internet is talking about and what nobody else thinks, he's going to run his career the way he wants to because it's his life and he has plans. I agreed with that 100% and I laughed because I know niggas is going to be mad. Anyway, let me go ahead and play this again. This is on Fight Hype. Y'all can watch the video if y'all want. But again, ERICKSON Lubin is the first one to turn down the Boots
you've
fight.
Been on the scene a long time.
First one so far to turn down a Boots fight. We will see who's next. Let's listen.
And Kid Austin is the co-main. How you doing, ERICKSON?
I'm doing great. How are you? Hold on, let me fix this. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I was excited to see you at the presser in Arlington about a month ago. And but listen, man, you've been on the scene a long time. You bursted out in a pro for about 12 or 13 years. Came out with Iron Mike Tyson.
Hit the like.
You know, your first title shot against Dermel didn't go your way, and then you had that war with Fundora. What keeps you motivated after all these years?
Well, you know, my mind is still focused on the goal, and that's to become world champion and be that guy. Be that guy not just in my weight division, but be that guy in boxing. I've been doing this for a long time, so I stay motivated. You know, I'm motivated, and that's why I choose the fights that I be choosing. I don't go for no hand-picked opponents. I don't try to fight.
He's shooting
you know,
shots.
Guys with losing. I never fought a guy with a losing record. Never.
He's shooting shots.
That's what keep me motivated. Just basically me not reaching my goals yet. So, you know, I'm right there. I got these good opponents in front of me. This is my third undefeated fighter in a row. You know, third top 10 opponent, and I feel like it's time to capitalize on everything. You know, everything I've been through, and yeah, you know, they got Virgil Ortiz as the number one guy in 154 pounds on the ring rankings, and I feel like
that's another thing. Did y'all see them ring rankings? This is why I always say I don't care about what none of y'all talking about. Not even a boxing analyst. On the Ring Magazine rankings, they have Virgil Ortiz number one over the champions. And now everybody's like, yo, how you got him over people with belts? Yo, how you got him over people with belts? And I'm just looking at all the comments of people like, yo, how you ranking somebody over the champions? He doesn't have a belt. He shouldn't be ranked higher than the people with belt. This is the first time that I could say, not that I agree with the rankings, but that I can agree with whoever made that list, their thought process. because the person who made that list, they thought process for the Ring magazine, for them to put Virgil Ortiz over champions means that they don't give a fuck about none of them belts that they got. They going strictly off of domination and style and skill and all of that. Now they got Virgil. Me, I would have Boots. You feel what I'm saying? Just because I think you put Virgil and Boots in the ring, I think Virgil's style is tailor made for Boots. Everybody talking is 50-50 and all this. Yes, is dangerous because he got power, but none of that power mean nothing when you can't hit the target and the nigga you fighting is 15 rounds ready. Nigga don't even sit down in the corner, and he also has dynamite in his hands, both of his hands. Great defense, good footwork. He's tall and he's long. I mean, I just again. But this is what y'all do. But again, I brought that up because they got Virgil Ortiz #1, and people were so mad, and I was just laughing like these niggas. Y'all stay with these belt conversations, bro. Like I get it, you're a champion, great, but that has nothing to do when these people get in the ring. If we just ranking people who got belts, then I mean, if the whole ranking if your train of thought of who's the best in that division determines on who has belts, then I expect your top 5 to have Terrence Bud Crawford and Floyd Mayweather at the top because they had the most belts. You understand that? If not, like where's the hypocrisy? Like how are you upset that they have another man over other people who have belts, and you're like, no, he shouldn't be above them because he's not a champion. Okay, so only champions get to rank high. If you have a belt that classifies you as a top, okay. And this is I know people listening to this like, wait, what do you mean? That's how it works. Isn't that supposed to be how it works? If you got a belt, then you're #1. If you got a belt, no, nigga. Having a belt is great. That means you fought, you got the opportunity to fight somebody who had a belt. You beat that fighter, and now you were awarded a belt. Great. But does that mean that you're a better fighter than the other nigga who doesn't have a belt? Absolutely not. And that's just the fact. So again, if you're one of those people who was upset when y'all saw the Ring magazine post, and again, I don't agree with it. I have Boots #1. That's why I don't agree with it. But they have Virgil #1. But either way, Virgil or Boots don't have a belt. So the argument is still the same either way. If y'all one of them people who's upset that the Ring magazine has Virgil Ortiz #1 over people with belts, then that means you give people with belts a higher ranking with people who don't have belts or who have less belts. So if that's the case, when I ask you who is the best fighters in the world pound for pound, your #1 and #2 should be Terrence Bud Crawford and Floyd Mayweather Jr. 1A and 1B. That's it. 3-time undisputed. Nobody done that. Over 12, 15 belts hold. Like, think about it before y'all start talking shit. Oh shit, did I say that? Oh yeah, but what I meant was this. Oh shit, but if I say that, then that means that this gotta be that. This is what I mean, bro. Like I just don't be going with what y'all be going with, because the shit never makes sense. And I'll be cordial, but I just have to laugh sometimes. I'm like, yo, niggas really just be following what people be saying. But I listen. You know, I got my podcast now. I got my channel now, Pound for Pound Boxing Talk, where the talk is the realest. I'll listen. I just be like, yo, niggas really don't think for themselves. Like, y'all just really a bunch of followers. Y'all really a bunch of followers who just listen what that person say, take it in and repeat it to sound smart or to sound like you cool or you know something about boxing. But when I hear that type of shit, I already know you have to be new to the sport to still be talking like this. Ain't no way you think that belts matter as much as they do. Ain't no way you think resumes matters as much as they do. Watching boxing consistently year after year after year, there's no way you could do that and still put all the weight on the resume and the belts the way that you do. But anyway, let's get back to ERICKSON movie. Let me rewind that.
And yeah, you know, they got Virgil Ortiz as the #1 guy in 154 pounds on the ring rankings, and I feel like, you know, with a big one like this, it'll just, you know, put me there.
Yeah, man, real quick before we get into the fight, I just got to ask you, what was it like rolling out with Mike Tyson? Like, so, you know, right to the beginning of your career, I think you passed up on the Olympics, you went pro. I remember him rolling into the Mesquite Arena in Texas. I don't know, I think you might have been fighting or was there in a Rolls Royce halfway through the show. Were you at that fight?
No, I wasn't at that fight. Okay. But I went to a few of those fights. Verona, New York, Miami, just a whole bunch of places, you know. But that experience, it was just an experience. It was a great experience for me, you know, to start the scene so young with somebody who also started the scene so young and became world champion at a very young age, and just maybe 1 year of being professional. So it was a great experience. I feel like they did what was right for me, and you know, we obviously moved on, but we still have a great relationship. So, you know, yeah, it was a great experience.
Yeah, I mean, Iron Mike and the Hammer, it's not a bad combo. So
Right.
you guys kind of went together. But listen, man, you're only, what, 30, 29, 30?
Yeah, I just turned 30 2 weeks ago.
Okay, well, happy birthday, man. So
Thank you.
you're in the most, probably now, but I mean, it always changes, but the most stacked division in boxing, 154. You're still in the top 10, and yet your name very rarely gets brought up as one of the top dogs. You know, you kind of alluded to it. They already kind of anointed Virgil as the #1 guy, and he's not even a champion. But how does that make you feel when your name's not really out there in the public?
It keeps me motivated. And you know, I've been one of the top guys for a while, and you know, boxing right now has to me became a popularity contest. So you know, they like Virgil hasn't become a champion, but they got him #1. He hasn't fought, to me, none of the top dogs like the Fondoras and the Charlos and those type of opponents, but they got him #1 in the 154-pound division from being Chuck, who just lost to Brandon Madden.
Now, what I do disagree with as well, and I'll take back what I said, because I just thought about something. At the 154, the way I would rank it, I would have Jermell Charlo #1 and Boots #2. Because Jermell Charlo really went in there and did his damn thing throughout that division. I mean, he ain't showed no scariness in him. He fought all them dudes that was there. Even the ones that was close, that was a draw. Even the ones that he lost, he always ran it right back and always got the W and went on to the next one and went on to the next one till he collected all them straps and showed like it wasn't even about the straps, but it's just the people he beat. I mean, the Tony Harrison, the Lubin, I mean, the Castano. I mean, he beat the dudes there. The top dudes there. So to me, he proved it. You know, he run that division. But still, but you know it's crazy. I still got Boots #1. I still got Boots #1 because if Boots and Charlo get in the ring, I still got Boots smoking them. So I'm sorry, I take back what I took back. I still got Boots #1. And I got Charlo #2.
Again, and Majimov, he's a good fighter, but he's a little inexperienced. You know, he has like 12, 13 fights. He don't have that many fights, and you know, from those 2 wins, that catapulted Virgil Ortiz as the #1 guy, and I really don't agree with that. But you know, with it being a popularity contest, I'm just rolling with the punches, and you know, I'm glad I get to face one of these popular fighters, the #1 guy in the division, so they say. So this is a very important fight for me. I'm very motivated. I've been training really hard, and it's gonna show on November 8th. You know, like that. You know, the people that talk down on me, the people that do all that hating. You know, you can't deny me. You know, I'm one of those fighters you can't deny. But, you know, I was in my 3rd year as a professional. I was already fighting for a world title, so you know, I'm still here. You know, they wish I was gone, but I'm still here, and it really don't. It doesn't matter to me what the fans think. It's about what I go in the ring and do.
There you go.
That's what's important. November 8th is special for me.
Yeah, and I can't wait. Erickson, you remind me, I've been in Dallas covering the local scene for years, covered Spence for years, and you kind of have a little bit of that similar personality. He wasn't a big talker. He wasn't a big, guy. I mean, he got promoted very well, big fish and stuff like that. But when you talk to him, he gave you good quotes. And you seem the same guy. You're kind of reserved. You don't play the social media game.
Yeah, I actually just deleted that X app because I was going on the app for a little bit, and then I'll just see what they say and what they got to say about the fight. And then I watched the Boots Ennis fight on Saturday against Lima, and I just see how they're overlooking me and stuff like that. So I just put my head down and work. You know, I don't got to do too much talking when, I know I hadn't really been on the scene as much, in these past few years. And I feel like, the game has just changed, with a lot of the popularity contests. I don't really care too much about that because I let my hands do the talking. And I feel like Virgil Ortiz is kind of the same way. That's why we didn't have no crazy words going back and forth. We just, we stared at each other and gave each other handshakes, and it was like, I'll see you on fight night because you got a highly skilled matchup. And the fans are in for a treat. So we don't gotta say too much words. You guys are just gonna watch on Saturday night, November 8th, and it's gonna be a nice, explosive fight. It's gonna be great. I'm telling you right now, it's gonna be a great fight, one to remember.
If you need lessons for social media and talking, you got a guy in your backyard, Keith, one-time Thurman, another Floridian. What's your relationship with Keith before we get into the Virgil fight?
Keith, I actually grew up around Keith. He was much older. He was sparring guys like, I'll be in the gym, he'll be sparring guys like Bird, or he'll be sparring my older brother, and I'll just be a young buck in the corner just watching. So he remembers me from those days, and me and Keith, there's no bad blood at all. I respect Keith. I respect him as a fighter. He's one of those guys too. He looks for the big challenges. He may be at the tail end of his career, or so they say. You never know until the fighter actually goes in there and fight. But with age, he's probably 35, 36 years old. And that usually is the time where fighters are at their tail end. But he's going in there, he's still performing, and he's still looking for the big challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's about to fight Fundora.
Mm-hmm.
He fought Pacquiao just a few years ago. He's fought some top guys, so I respect Keith on it. He's one of them tough Floridians for sure.
Yeah, and he's got that gift of gab, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But listen, man. Speaking of Virgil, he told me at your press conference. I asked him, I go, why Erickson? Why now? I mean, you're a dangerous fighter for anybody, and like you said, he's been anointed #1 top guy. It seems like he would be in for a title fight, and he said nobody else would fight him but you.
Yeah. Well. I don't know. I don't know about that too much. Like these fighters shit. It was hard for me to get a fight. It was hard for me to get somebody in the ring with me. So I know we had the IBF dude. He wanted to fight. Bakram, I know he wanted to fight, but it just wasn't set up. It wasn't laid out. It was too much negotiating. But
Wait. He said Bakram wanted to fight him.
you know, it was hard for me to get somebody in the ring with me. So I know we had the IBF dude. He wanted to fight Bakram. I know he wanted to fight, but it just wasn't set up. It wasn't laid out. It wasn't. It was too much negotiating. But
Too much.
there was fights. There were fights on the table. I don't really think that was the case, honestly.
So he said Bakram offered him to fight for the belt. Bakram offered Lubin to fight for his belt. And Lubin said that he didn't want to do it because it was too much negotiating. It wasn't laid out. Too much negotiating going on for his liking. So he said no and went with Virgil.
Let us play that diva role and want to have things on their terms and have things pretty much perfect for them. So I feel like that's why they do a lot of no's. They say a lot of no's because they want to be the A side, or they want this much money and they want this much, and it's too much negotiating. We gotta give fans what they want, and this is how you become that dude. This is how you become the one that they gotta answer to by fighting guys like Virgil. This is my third undefeated fighter in a row. I hope I get some respect for that. But beating guys like this is just gonna make me the guy to beat. And I'm gonna be the one to call shots. Remember I say this, man. I'm gonna be the one to call shots.
And listen, I know Virgil's not sleeping on you. He told me that. So he doesn't look at it as, he knows you're going to be a tough fight. But they are already talking about Virgil and Boots going into next year. Does that? I mean, I know you have the motivation. You don't. I mean, that doesn't matter. But when you hear talk like that, I mean, what are your thoughts?
I don't really care because I got plans of my own. I got plans to fight Fundora again. I got plans to fight Charlo again. Fundora's the champion at 154, the WBC world champion, and me and Virgil, we're fighting for the WBC interim title. So this sets up perfect for a match like that for myself. This is the interim title fight, and being a guy like Virgil will set me up to fight Fundora again in a rematch that was action-packed. The fans loved it. They would love to see it again, I'm sure.
Yeah, I like to see that again. That was a good fight.
So they promote it well. They promote the Boots and his fight really well, but he got somebody like myself who's hungry and got plans of his own. So I don't really care. Like I said, boxing's been a popularity contest. These dudes sit up on social media and create narratives. I don't give a damn about none of that shit.
He said he don't give a damn about none of y'all narratives. He gonna do what he wanna do. That's a fact. That's how I be coming.
I got plans of my own. This is my career. I'll be damned if I let anybody dictate what's gonna happen in my career and what's gonna happen in my life.
But what about the fans, Lubin? But what about fighting for the people? But what about the fans on Twitter and on Facebook and YouTube that be talking crazy? What about them? Do what they want you to do instead of doing what you feel is best for you, your career, and your family. Do what the people on the internet who never been in a fight, never been in a gym, don't know none about boxing. These boxing analysts do what they want you to do, or they won't give you credit. Or you just gonna do what you want to do. I'm gonna do what the fuck I want to do. I 100% agree with what Lubin said right there.
A popularity contest. These dudes sit up on social media and create narratives. I don't give a damn about none of that shit. I got plans of my own. This is my career. I'll be damned if I let anybody dictate what's gonna happen in my career and what's gonna happen in my life.
Big dog.
If you beat Virgil, would you want the Boots fight?
When I beat a guy like Virgil, nah. At this
No,
moment, I wouldn't say yes to it. Just because I'll be doing Boots more of a favor, honestly.
he said no to the Boots fight. He said if he beats Virgil, he will not fight Boots. He'll be doing Boots a favor. Ooh, what y'all think about that? The first one to turn down the Boots fight already. Already. He said, win or lose, I will not fight Boots. That's one name off the resume. Canceled out. Who's gonna say no next? That's the question. Who's gonna turn down Boots next?
And is it a high selling fight out?
ERICKSON Lubin is the first one. I'm doing this live so we can have record of this because I'm gonna go one by one. The first person to say was no to Boots was Lubin. The next person that say no, we're gonna have their name says no to Boots, and we just gonna keep going until somebody fight him.
No, but I would like to go rectify my loss against Fundora and fight for a world title instead of fighting, you know, that's just what the fans may want. That's just what the fans may want. But this is for me. This is for my future, my career, my legacy. I would like to fight Fundora and rectify that loss and maybe fight a guy like Charlo again. That's what's important to me.
He want to get his get back.
Boots is a great fighter. Don't get me wrong, he's a great fighter, but that'll be doing him more of a favor. He just went out there on Saturday for a guy like Usman Lima. We never heard of that dude.
We don't know.
We don't know that dude. And the fact that he knocked out a guy with 14 fights in the first round is impressive to the fans. And that's what gets me. It's like, what? Like, Boots could really fight. Like, yeah, he gonna do that to somebody with just 14 fights. Somebody who already took a L. Somebody who lost to a guy that's like not even on the level of Boots. He lost to the guy McKenna who's a great fighter. He could fight, but there's levels to this game, And I feel like I said, it's been a lot of popularity contests going on. You got a great promoter, Eddie Hearn, who put things out there like that. Like he knocked out Usman Lima, and he's screaming on the mic like as if he won. Like we don't want to hear you, Eddie. Shut up. We don't want to hear you. Like, yeah, it's cool you're being a promoter, but it's Boots' moment. Let Boots talk for himself. And I feel like, with Boots being at home, he probably got that energy, so he start calling out everybody. Why didn't you fight them like immediately? Why didn't you? You had to go get a tune-up. You had to go
some
get
more tea. I gotta get some more tea.
Come on, man. I'm calling a spade. And I think Boots is one hell of a fighter.
Yeah, and I don't hear anybody calling out the hammer after fights. You mentioned Fundora. I was going to ask you about him if you wanted another crack, and obviously you do. I mean, that fight was, if Hagler Hearns was the war, that was the war too. It was more than 3 rounds. How tough of a guy like Fundora? I mean, you went to battle with him. You could speak better than anybody about fighting him, and now you mentioned Keith Thurman has him lined up. Got postponed maybe to January, but talk about fighting him and how difficult it is because of his height and his length.
Oh yeah, his height and his length is something to deal with for sure. Like when I was in camp, I was sparring light heavyweights, guys who were 6'3", 6'4". So yeah, and he has volume. He was throwing a lot of punches, and being that tall, it was just something to deal with. But with training, with preparation, I was able to, figure some things out and crack him. But with my face being swelled up and all that type of stuff, it was just kind of too late. My trainer was just looking out for me. Kevin Cunningham at the time was just looking out, and he basically did what's best. To his opinion, he felt like that was the best thing to do. With me wanting to fight and stuff like that, maybe I was being too tough for my own good, but that's just how I felt. But you live and you learn. I would love to rectify that loss, like I said, even the fight with Charlo. feel like that fight ended a little too early. It wasn't something I wanted to happen, of course, or I expected to happen, I guess. But it happened. I just gotta live with it, and that's why I keep punching. I keep fighting. I believe in myself. I know what I'm capable of. So, yeah.
You know, Keith told me the way in Fundora fights inside, right? So, you know, he doesn't really, I mean, he's been boxing a little bit more on the outside, but he really loves to go inside for his height and length. But Keith said the way you beat him is you go to the body, you knock down the tree. Does Keith does Keith have a chance to win that fight? And if he does, would you fight Keith?
He has a chance for sure. Like Keith has great lateral movement and he has great power. So, and he's experienced. So, you know, that may play in his favor a little bit. And Fundora, he likes to be on the inside, of course, and, you know, susceptible to some big shots. Do I want to fight a guy like Keith Thurman? We could do it in Florida. We could do that fight in Florida. That'd be a great fight for the hometown fans. He's not far at all from where I live. He's about an hour away. And I think that'd be a big fight. That'd be definitely a big fight for the hometown fans.
Especially with Antonio Tarver on the mic. I mean,
yeah, that's my boy.
Yeah, that would be fun. Let me ask you, and we'll wrap up here, Erickson. I appreciate you doing this, man.
Yes, sir.
Great to catch up. Let me ask you about a few fights. You mentioned Fundora Thurman. Haney, Brian Norman. To me, that's one of the most, besides you and Virgil, that's one of the most interesting fights out there. What are your thoughts on that fight? I
think that's a great fight. It's a great fight for boxing. Both fighters want to be great, especially a guy like Haney. You know, Haney, he's just moving up. He's just moving up to 147, going right after the champion. You know, that's something that, you know, you could admire from a guy like Haney. But, you know, Boots Ennis, he comes in and fights a guy like Usman Lima out the gate. And, you know, they're bigging him up on, so big on that one. But, you know, I pay more attention. I pay more respect to Haney for fighting a guy like Brian Norman. I think it's a great fight. It's a 50-50 fight, in my opinion. And may the best man win. I think Brian Norman's a great puncher. He had a devastating knockout with Susaki or whatever his name was. He had a guy in Japan. That was a tremendous knockout. And that's just 2 weeks after my fight. So I think the fans are in for a treat. Great fight.
What about, it's not done yet. Excuse me. Shakur Teofimo, they do a lot of good talking. Like, you know, we mentioned earlier the social media stuff. Shakur, I think one of the most skilled guys in boxing.
Yeah.
And then Teofimo, you know, he was on his way to be superstardom, you know, and so forth. What do you think about that clash?
That's another great fight. You know, both fighters wanted to put on great fights for the boxing fans. Yeah, just another great fight in my opinion. I think Shakur is one of the best fighters in boxing. You know, I pay a lot of attention to both fighters, and I think that's a great fight. I think Shakur edges that, in my opinion. But, you know, Teofimo he's twitchy, he's fast, he's powerful. Another great fight.
Yeah. And this is probably not going to happen at this point. Shakur and Tank. If that super fight ever were to happen,
that shit ain't happening.
How do you see that playing out?
I think that's a great fight. I think that's another great fight. Like I said, Shakur is one of the most skilled fighters in boxing. I think he'll be one of the only people to give Tank those type of problems. And, you know, Tank he's a devastating puncher, but, you know, just in my opinion, I don't really feel like Tank really cares for the sport as much as he once did. And I think Shakur he's always, you know, he's thinking about legacy more than the money. You know, he's touched the money, he has the money, and, you know, he wants to be great. So I also might add Shakur on that one.
Nah, I gotta take
I would be remiss talking about great if I didn't ask you about what Bud Crawford did versus Canelo Alvarez in September. I was at the fight. What did you think of his performance, and where does that put him, amongst the all-time greats?
Yeah, he's on the Mount Rushmore for sure. At least the top 3 for sure. I think that was a tremendous
It's Money
performance.
and Bud.
I feel like
Money and Bud.
I was watching that last night, but he basically disarmed Canelo. Canelo tried a lot of things, but Crawford had an answer for everything. He had an answer for everything. He had great movement, great speed, great counters, great everything. He was just ready for that fight.
Have you ever shared the ring with him?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. What were those sessions like?
Great sparring, great experience. But Crawford's one of the best, and it was great sparring.
Yeah. And let me ask you this, and I'll get you out of here. We'll call it Postergate. Tell me what happened. I know they put you on the poster really small, and Virgil, did you say something about it, or what was that all about? I heard something.
Yeah. They put me real small in the corner somewhere, and they got Virgil shining as the moon over me, and I found that a little disrespectful. But it's his show. It's Golden Boy. It's on the Zone. This is my first time fighting on the Zone, and they just, like I said, it's a lot of popularity contests, a lot of that stuff going on. I don't know if they're trying to throw me off my game or something, but that shit won't work. Not with a poster. That's light to me. We coming up with our own posters and all that type of stuff, so it don't really matter to me. They could try to use that as the promo all they want. It is disrespectful to me and my brand. I won't promote it at all, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, listen, Erickson, I don't think anybody thinks this fight is going the distance. What should we expect November 8th, Fort Worth, Texas, at Dickies Arena, live on the Zone, main event on a truly stacked card?
Yeah. It's hammer time. Everybody tune in on the Zone, November 8th. It's to me, it's more like Judgment Day. It's Judgment Day for Virgil. He hasn't, to me, fought nobody like myself yet. And, for myself, I'm just ready to show the people that I'm here to stay. And I've been doing it for years, and I've done it once and I'll do it again. And, it's time for me to become a world champion. So this is important for me.
Erickson, man, this was everything I thought it would be. The first time I talked to you was great. This was probably even greater. I need to go back and look at that interview. But
Yeah.
I welcome you to Texas, Fort Worth. I'm up in North Dallas, Frisco at the Star, by the Star, I should say. But looking forward to the fight. I think it's going to be a fight of the year candidate. Fireworks. So good luck, and we'll see you here in a few weeks.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so y'all heard the man. ERICKSON Lubin is the first man. I'm keeping record of all this shit. He's the first man to turn down a JARON Boots ENNIS fight. Who's gonna be next? Who do y'all think will be next? Will it be Virgil that says no? Will it be Bakram that says no? Will it be Charlo that says no? Will it be Ramos that says no? Will it be Abaz that says no? Will it be Xander that says no? Will it be Fandora that says no? Will it be Castaño that says no? Will it be Thurman that says no? Will it be Errol Spence that says no? Who's gonna be next? ERICKSON Lubin is the first. I will not fight JARON Boots ENNIS. Who at 154 will be next to turn down Boots? We shall see on next episode of Pound for Pound Boxing Talk. We are out.
P4P Boxing Talk. Unbiased Boxing Channel.
Roses and daffodils.
P4P Boxing Talk. Unbiased Boxing Channel.
Roses and daffodils. Waiting on you at the gates hell. Catch me if I start to feel a prayer dawn, a prayer dawn. Roses and daffodils. Waiting on you at the gates hell. Catch me if I start to feel a prayer dawn, a prayer dawn. I got some big ass fucking visions in vogue. I'm talking cover lover, baby mother covered in gold. I'm talking 19 fucking rings on my tree. I got